mighty Joe Mui.
Thank you. Wow. What an introduction.
Wait. So listen, enjoy the song. That's Michael Jordan's Chicago Bulls song because you're a champ. Let me just put this on here for the photo.
It's bigger than me.
Thank you so much, everybody.
Wow, Jeremy. What an introduction. I appreciate it. And thank you. Thank you for having me, by the way. And I feel overdressed and a bit older than most of the people here. Am I correct?
I heard you might have been the waiter at the Last Supper, Joe.
Yeah,
that's right.
something.
I'm just joking around. Joe, firstly, it's an honor to have you here. I'm very happy that you're here with us today. What I want us to do is this. If we can deliver the following, and the following themes can resonate with our audience, then it means that that's more valuable to us than any purchase on a book. It really is.
Okay.
Now, perseverance, resilience, betting on yourself, in other words, believing in yourself. And one more thing, Joe, thinking outside the box. Clearly, you had to be creative to do what you did. Because you were competing in a realm, in a space of giants. Joe showed up to Cornell. Articles were written about athletes who were 6'3" from Canada. His name was Ken Dryden, well-known name in sports in Canada. 1 year later, to that date, they're writing about Joe Mui. So Joe, tell us a little bit about the impetus behind leaving Guangzhou and going to Kowloon. What happened?
Well, when I was born in the 50s, as you know, the communists took over China in 1949. And growing up, my parents were running away from the war, hiding in the hills, so they could not get drafted. So I was born in 54, so one of the questions people asked me was, the writer from Tom Quinn, one of the New York Times bestseller, he said, Joe, so what'd you do when you were a kid? What kind of toys do you have? What kind of school do you have? I said, Tom, what are you kidding? We're lucky to get 2 meals, running away from all the communists at that time, because that was the height of the communist war, obviously. So we didn't have any of that. So growing up, without knowing what's going on, you just try to survive. I mean, I think I had a piece of rock, as I recall, that we played in the backyard of our house in rural China. And so that's how we grew up. No education, just barely getting by. And so I think around my mother and my brother came to Canada in 1958. So we walked across to Hong Kong, and we were living in a farm out by what they call the New Territories. And no school, because in Hong Kong you have to have money to go to school. We didn't have any money, so we just I didn't even speak the language, because they spoke Cantonese. And we were born in a rural village where we spoke our village dialect. 65, we came to Canada. It was very, very difficult when I first landed in 65. As you know, the weather is a little bit different compared to today, because it used to snow in October, and it goes all the way to April or May. So our biggest thing when I first came was street hockey. That's all we did, play street hockey. It was free.
And Joe, you did an amazing job of assimilating and making that transition, which would have been rough for many individuals. My question is this: how did you overcome and persevere in a world of giants? You're 5'3". You're competing.
I used to be
against
6'4".
You used to be 6'4", but through time you got to 5'3".
Yes.
There was a language barrier.
Yes.
You came here not speaking a word of English.
Yes.
Opulence. When it comes to opulence, zero privilege. You told me once that you didn't even have chips or chocolates.
Correct. Well, the thing is, you don't miss something that you've never been experienced to. So when we were growing up in Scarborough, my younger sister Bonnie and I, because how can you miss something that you don't know? We're not even aware of or whatever's happening. I don't think I had a can of pop until I went to high school, because we don't know. What is that? You don't have that growing up. You're not going to miss it. You're not going to be saying that, oh, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that. And as you know, in Canada, when you turn 16, you can drive. And you know, we didn't have a car. My parents never had a car. So how would I miss something that I don't even know?
You get to Cornell, remember, you're with the offspring now of a lot of people with influence.
Yes.
Politicians, lawyers.
Yes.
You're with their children.
Yes.
Can you tell us about how you're not letting intimidation get to you?
Well, like I said, if I don't have anything, how am I going to compete against something that I never had? But I had one goal when I went to Cornell was that I have to pass, and you have to pass. They gave me enough money to live and go to school, but one condition, you have to pass. If you don't pass, they'll take away all my money. But if I quit playing soccer, they still have to keep me there. So that was the one motivation that I said I cannot fail any courses. At Cornell, you're only allowed to fail once. Once you fail once, you're out. You're done. So that's the type of pressure that you have to be working under.
And you're also talking about how competitive it is to get in.
It's
You said
crazy.
something like a 98%?
Oh, it's crazy. You know, you cannot let other people influence how you do your job. And I'm very, very good at that. Most of the people say, wow, you know, Jeremy has 90. I better get 91. I said, no, that's not me, because I'm not him. Okay, I have to do my own routine. What do I do to get past that passing grade? That's all I have to do, and which is not easy sometimes, because the courses that they put me in, and which I can tell you that every athlete, when you go to an American University Division I, they put me in all the program that I have no idea. They just give me a schedule and say, here's what you're taking. So I just show up. So that's a little difference than you choosing your own topics.
We'll leave you with this question, and that's the following. Based on everything that you heard from Joe and I, how will you seize the moment to think outside the box in order to reach your aspirations and your goals? I want to thank you very much on behalf of Joe and myself for supporting us, and thank you, Tedx, for hosting us today. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.